There are moments in science when silence is louder than thunder, and this may be one of them. It wasn't an asteroid, a dying star, or even a new galaxy that caught attention. It was the absence of sound itself. The James Webb Space Telescope, floating a million miles from Earth and designed to peer deeper into the cosmos than any tool humanity has ever built, was examining a sector of space that was long believed to be empty. A void between galaxies. Nothing more than a blank spot on the cosmic map. But what it uncovered overturned that assumption completely. In the loneliest corner of the universe, Webb detected not light, but a shadow. A darkness that didn't reflect or bend light. It swallowed it whole. And stranger still, it moved. Slowly, deliberately, as though it understood it was being observed. What the telescope recorded next forced entire teams of astrophysicists, cosmologists, and mathematicians to abandon the models they had trusted for decades. This was not a comet, not a pulsar, and not a black hole. It was something else, something that reacted, something that seemed to think, something that might even remember. The anomaly was first noticed during a deep field survey near the Eridana supervoid, a vast and mysterious region already famous for its cold spots and unusually sparse galaxies. As Webb calibrated its infrared sensors, it stumbled across something unnatural, a perfect circle of silence. Not a gravitational lens. Not a shadow cast by a hidden star. This was an interruption in the very fabric of reality, as if someone had erased space itself with surgical precision. Imagine dropping ink into a glass of water and seeing not diffusion, but disappearance. That was the effect. At first, scientists thought they might be seeing a new class of black hole. But there were no X-rays, no gravitational ripples, no heat. Just stillness. And then it began to pulse. Over days, the perimeter expanded and contracted, not randomly, but rhythmically, almost like breathing. Light around the object rippled in distorted waves, but not chaotically. The timing matched prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. A pattern so deliberate it was impossible to dismiss as natural. And these weren't ordinary signals, they weren't radio, infrared, or gamma. They were subtle disruptions in spacetime itself. Webb's gyroscopes detected minute tremors in their calibration that lined up with each pulse, as though reality itself was being nudged. The object wasn't breaking the laws of physics. It was mocking them. Then came something more disturbing. 27 days after the first detection, Webb recorded the object shifting, not by traveling, but by blinking. It disappeared and reappeared, only slightly displaced, without leaving a trail. It had moved without moving. This was no longer a matter of speed. It was beyond time. A phenomenon that echoed quantum entanglement but on the scale of moons. Simulations revealed its shifting formed a spiral, one that seemed to point inward, toward Earth. By then, the question was no longer if the object was dangerous. The question was if it was thinking. The distortions surrounding it began arranging themselves into fractals, shapes reminiscent of biological structures, not organs, but neural networks. A living system made of geometry, adapting as Webb's gaze continued. Scientists called it responsive geometry. To some, it looked like an antenna. To others, a construct designed to anchor itself in reality, waiting for something. And then an artificial intelligence program analyzing the data froze. It crashed, looped, and returned one chilling word in its log. Recognized. That was when whispers began. This wasn't a discovery. It was a reply. The pulses grew stranger still. Harmonic patterns appeared, layered like music. A song of the void, some called it. Not random noise, but chords, arrangements only possible if engineered. The harmonics even shifted subtly depending on Webb's position, suggesting it wasn't broadcasting blindly. It was listening. Mathematicians uncovered something hidden in the timing of the pulses. The Ulam prime spiral, a mysterious configuration of prime numbers that has baffled researchers for decades. But when plotted in 3 dimensions, the sequence didn't just make a spiral. It formed a helix, nearly identical to human DNA. The intervals even matched genetic codons in our biology. This wasn't coincidence. Whatever it was, it knew us. That was when silence fell on the project. Webb's public data streams began to lag. Key observatories pulled their logs. Scientists who had spoken eagerly about the anomaly suddenly stepped away, resigning from positions without explanation. Agencies stopped releasing updates. What had begun as open discovery had turned into secrecy. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings were called. NASA, ESA, even private companies like SpaceX were pulled in. Not because the object posed an immediate threat, but because no one could prove it wasn't already here. Some theorized it was a probe, a sentinel, or a beacon. Others thought it had simply waited until our instruments were advanced enough to notice. Yet the most disturbing idea was this. Past missions like Voyager and New Horizons had passed the same region and seen nothing. Meaning it was cloaked,